Hi, I'm Michelle Williams, your Ignited teacher from FuelGreatMinds.com. Today I want to share with you problem solving with Read, Draw, Write. And I think this is an important topic because a lot of teachers really struggle, or I've seen them struggle with finding a problem solving for math that really works on every strand. Because in elementary we have different strands of mathematics, and Read, Draw, Write is a very good problem solving strategy that has been taught to teachers in conjunction with Singapore math strategies. So let's get started. The Read, Draw, Write, like its name, it has three components. It has the read part, which I added some extra information to scaffold the information and support my students because I teach 50% of my students are English language learners, so they still struggle with comprehension, and this gave them something to grasp onto. They circle the numbers that you will use to solve the problem, underline the question, box in words to tell you to add and subtract and multiply. I took some of these strategies from the cube strategy if you're familiar with that problem solving strategy, and put it into my read part. But like I tell my students every day, reading is thinking, no matter if it's in math, science, or social studies, or in your English language arts class. It's still reading, so they have to slow down and think through the problem. Then there's the draw part. The draw part is using the information from the problem to determine which math strategy and math tool is appropriate to solve the problem. So the students, this is the piece where a lot of teachers may not agree with me. My proficient students are allowed to use the algorithm. I do not make them go back to show the conceptual piece, because if they understand what to do with the problem, then I'm okay with that. Then I start to grade them on based on whether or not they have executed the algorithm properly. And then the last part is the students have to write in a complete sentence and answer the question. Well, this is an important piece, especially for English language learners and students that struggle with literacy in general. It makes them go back to the problem, look at the question, and a lot of those problems have to be written in past tense. And you'll see that in my next demonstration. Well, here's my demonstration. During the students let me get my pen together. The students in Miss Aubrey's class brought in 15 cans during week 1 of the food drive. During week 2, the students brought in 4 times as many cans. How many cans did the students bring during week 2? Well, most of the time I tell my students to read through the problem so they can get a general idea of what it talks about. Now, there's not any order in which the students can execute the read part. So we're going to underline the question. And that's important because it helps us pull out information that is needed to answer this question. How many cans did the students bring in during week 2? Well, it's talking about cans. So what I'm going to do is read each sentence and see and find information where they're talking about cans. The students in Miss Aubrey's class brought in 15 cans. Well, here's some information, and I'm going to circle 15 because it talks about what they brought in, or how many cans they brought in during week 1. The question asks, how many cans did the students bring in week 2? This talks about week 1. So in the next sentence, during week 2, the students brought in 4 times, let me get my pen, 4 times as many cans. So they brought in 4 times as many as they did in week 1. So I'm going to box in times because this is an important word for us. How many cans did the students bring in week 2? So What we're going to do is we're going to move on to the draw part. If I am a proficient student, I will use the algorithm. But a lot of my students deal with these types of problems. And this is a 4th grade problem. Even 5th graders still struggle with it. So here's week 1. And I'm going to use the tape diagram to show week 1, which is 15 cans. But during week 2, the students brought in 4 times as many cans. So that means that they brought in that 15 plus 3 more, which will give me 4 times as many. So I'm going to draw 4 bars. Now this is something that trips a lot of the students up, because a lot of the kids want to add an extra bar to give you a total of 5, but they said 4 times as many. So they're saying that they brought in that 15 plus 3 more, which gives us a total of 4, not 5. So I'm going to write 15, 15, 15, 15. And the students should realize that these numbers are repeating. So I always tell them, hey, if it's repeating, then if a number repeats, then it can be multiplying. In this case, the 15 is repeating. So 15 times 4, 4 times 5 is 20, 2 is 60. So they brought in 60 cans during week 2. Well, here we are at the draw part. The right part. The right part is where they have to go back to the question and look at it. How many cans did the students bring during week 2? Well, this is the part that helps those English language learners with those past tense transitions. So it says we're going to answer how many cans did the students bring in during week 2? The students, and I have to change that bring to brought because it's in a past tense. In 60 cans during week 2. And this is really important for students, and a lot of them want to skip over it, but I still make them write it. And even for my higher level kids, I may make them go on and say, well, how did you solve the problem? Why did you choose that strategy? So here are some examples. I've used RDW for the last, I want to say 4 years. Here is your 1st grade. That's 1st grade. And it's a little bit more simpler. And as you can see down here, it has the sentence stem where the kids can write. And then as time goes on, you can take away the sentence stem, and the children really learn how to write their own sentences, which is what is the goal in 1st grade. So Read, Draw, Write definitely supports the literacy in math as it relates to English language art. And then this is a 3rd grade example. We were talking about estimation, and the students, the number line is what the tool that they chose to solve the problem. In this problem, she did not get it correct, but I gave her points because she was on track and I could see her thinking. So this is a 3rd grade example. And then I have 4th grade where this student, she did a really good job, and she went even further to show how she solved the problem. And this was a really good example. And this was this year. This was my 5th graders. Well, this student, because I'm working at a high ELL population, I had to add with the RDW this year with they had to predict with evidence. And that's this part right here, the predicting with evidence. So in a T-chart, they will write the evidence that they got from the problem and then predict and then solve the problem. And you can see his steps. So if you're interested in trying the redraw right, I'm going to leave a link in my website where you can download the template for free. And also I have an interactive notebook starter pack that I start each year with my students, and I'll leave that link as well. So if you like this video, please like this video and leave your comments below. Thank you.